The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
White Castle presents CEO Lisa Ingram.
My great-grandfather opened White Castle in 1921, which is why I'm excited to announce the new 1921 slider, inspired by how we made them 100 years ago, with a 100% beef patty topped with cheddar cheese, caramelized onions, tomato, lettuce, and pickles. Come see why originality never goes out of style. I'm Lisa, but you can call me the Slider Queen.
White Castle. Long live sliders.
Pasteurized processed cheese at participating castles.
Are you looking for a rewarding new career? The New Jersey courts are hiring. Make a difference doing work that matters with competitive salaries, pension, benefits, on-the-job training, partial remote work, and paid holidays. Apply now at njcourts.gov/careers.
White Castle presents CEO Lisa Ingram.
My great-grandfather opened White Castle in 1921, which is why I'm excited to announce the new 1921 slider, inspired by how we made them 100 years ago, with a 100% beef patty topped with cheddar cheese, caramelized onions, tomato, lettuce, and pickles. Come see why originality never goes out of style. I'm Lisa, but you can call me the Slider Queen.
White Castle. Long live sliders.
Pasteurized processed cheese at participating castles.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron. We're back.
Getting high.
And what's going on now? Like Biden got coronavirus twice.
Right? Even Trump only got it once.
Yeah, he was like, take that, Trump.
I didn't get it twice.
2 times and still no hospital visit. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Like, so apparently we don't have to talk about effectiveness of vaccines or medication. We can just like relabel everything. Oh no, this is just rebound. We knew about this, right? This is just rebound COVID. Like, that's a normal thing. No. We're all just hearing about this for the first time. We knew that there were breakthrough cases and that like you could get reinfected and that these things weren't eradicating it like we were originally told. I'm not saying that vaccines aren't working, right? I didn't die. You didn't die. I think the vaccines are working. But like this idea that like, oh, this is just rebound. Like, no. Like, why don't you tell us the truth about what these quote unquote vaccines are doing?
Gaslighting was the theme for his weekend. But it's the conspiracy nuts. This kind of makes at least the theory I heard that his first bout of COVID was more of it was right after he had said that he had cancer. So the conspiracy theory people were the first time was like he didn't have COVID. It was like let's shut him up for a few days. Let's say he's got COVID. Like.
Or was this like, yeah, so this was more like you called off, said you were sick on a Monday, and then you actually got sick on a Wednesday, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
like we said he had COVID. Shit, now he has COVID.
Oh, it's back. I got rebound flu.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I mean, if you want a distraction from getting COVID twice, I mean, certainly killing terrorists is a good way to get a bit of an approval bump.
Right, it's crazy, and
we're
and
back
in
to
an
doing
election
that.
year.
Yeah, it's funny how these things come around.
Right? Well, that's kind of too like. My theory is too in Michigan. Mm-hmm. I feel our governor scheduled I feel she scheduled everything for 2022 construction wise, so she could be like, "Hey, look, I'm fixing the roads. Remember how I said I was fixing the roads?
Putting people at work. Yeah, there it is.
I feel like
my plan in progress.
I drive has an orange cone on it.
Yeah, it's a little out of control.
Yeah.
Like, can we just? How about we put all these guys on one street, do it for a week, right, and then move on? I mean, is it really helping to like spread it out and just like construct everything? Well, I mean, the thing is that everything needs it. Because like Michigan roads, who really knows what's at the bottom of? You know, is it just the weather, or is it like bad construction? Or
I've heard why it's blame blame the mob or blame the union.
I've heard those stories too, but
No.
it certainly can't be everything.
Well, no, it's because they use the the worst grade of concrete.
That is true. Yeah,
that you can use.
They get that shit with all the rocks and shit in it.
It's like it's basically like they set themselves up to keep working.
Yeah,
like other states will tell you,
it's
like,
planned obsolescence.
Yeah,
it's how that's how we used to talk about that in terms of like consumer goods in general, and cars especially.
Well, yeah, it's what almost killed the auto industry in 2008.
Right. And I think the auto industry is probably like they realized like, no, we've got to make these things to last because we've got a bad reputation. And now like electronic goods in general, they just fucking last.
Yeah.
Your iPad, your iPod, your Mac Pro, all this shit just fucking lasts for years and years and years.
I am using a 2012 iPad.
Generally, your microwave just keeps going.
I think my microwave might be like able to drink.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
Or vote.
Stereo
One
components,
of the two, yeah.
these monitors that we use. I mean, like...
Yeah, this headphone amp is from like 2000 and... might be 2000.
Yep. I mean, it's dusty as hell, but it's still working.
It works.
It's still working.
Yeah, everything in this rack
and
is
it's
one
Behringer.
thing works.
It's Behringer.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like the lowest grade people do. Oh, well, you can get that, but it's not going to last. Well, it kind of does. I mean, it can't take a beating. It's not roadworthy. I wouldn't, if I was gigging with equipment like that, I'd probably snap the knobs off. But for sitting in a studio, just...
We talked about, I upgraded my Mac because it got slow. It wasn't because it stopped working.
Yeah.
It still, actually, if I wanted to turn it on, well, I don't even know where the fuck it is, but if I went to turn it on, it would still turn on.
So Sprite, I guess, is going to no longer be in green bottles.
Why?
I don't know.
Was it clear?
Yeah. Like, it doesn't look right, does it? In a clear bottle?
I mean, I guess it's been like in clear bottles for a minute, hasn't it?
I always thought it was in the green bottles.
I feel like I've seen clear Sprite bottles for a second.
Taking color out of the bottle improves the quality of recycled material. Well, that makes sense. I mean, you wouldn't have to melt it down separately from all the Coke and Pepsi products that are in clear bottles. I thought, so like, green was, a lot of beers are in green and brown bottles because it's blocking out more light. You don't generally get the clear bottles. Well, I guess, like your Coronas and your Miller Lights, right?
Yeah. Light is evil to beer.
They're also from Seagram's and Mellow Yellow. Oh, they're still making Mellow Yellow, huh?
Yeah. Apparently.
We get Mellow Yellow around here? I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's probably at the grocery store.
I want to say that there's a restaurant that had it.
Me and the soft drink aisle at the grocery store are not as familiar as we were perhaps 15 to 20 years ago.
Yeah. I don't get it at home. I got some with me because I got it at Tyler. I got the, where else are you going to get Baja Blasted?
I heard they were going to start actually selling that.
I thought they did, yeah. Like you can get Baja Blast in bottles. Well, I think they do it as
Taco Bell exclusive for a while, but I know they finally started selling it. They were like, why just make money from one source?
I think, well, it's still Taco Bell exclusive as far as you can't get it at any other restaurant. I wouldn't be surprised if Taco Bell was getting a little piece of the Baja Blast action on the shelves. But Mellow Yellow is like the only legit alternative to Mountain Dew, right? I mean, what else is there? Locally, we have...
minus your...
We have Moon Mist locally, for your Faygo fans.
Or your grocery store's version of...
Yeah, they'll make some...
I know Save-A-Lot used to have Mountain Holler.
Mountain Holler, that's the one. Yeah.
Is Save-A-Lot still even a thing?
I don't know. Back in the day, it used to be the New York Seltzers. Remember those? Those were really popular for a while.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. I remember being a kid and going...
That was like the shit.
I don't like this.
Oh, really? Oh, they were prized. Like, we would go to somebody's house. Oh, they got New York Seltzers. And they would come...
You know what I saw today?
They come in the cute little bottles, too, and it had... like a kind of foam wrapping to it.
Speaking of the retro drinks, you know what I saw today? I didn't even know these came back. Clearly Canadian.
Clearly Canadian, for the Canadian in all of us. So that's my friend from high school, we used to do kind of a running joke of Clearly Canadian, like we do fake commercials for it. I guess it was one of those you had to be there moments.
Never saw water with 90 calories till I looked at the bottle
Canadian. Today. 90
There's
calorie
90
water?
calories
Well,
in
it's
a
seltzer.
bottle of Clearly Canadian.
It's seltzer, right? It's not just water.
No, I remember it was flavored water is what I remember.
Oh, it was flavored water?
It was just carbonated flavored water.
I thought it was like kind of ginger ale.
No, I remember I liked Clearly Canadians. They tasted...
I don't know if I actually drank
I remember
one.
The reason I didn't like New York Seltzer because I remember it was a lot more bitter than I was.
Yeah.
No.
It didn't have the high sugar. I think it was like a diet drink. That's why it was probably popular in the 80s.
And to me, Clearly Canadians tasted like New York Seltzers wanted to taste. Like, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There's the sugar.
What was the big one for you, though, when you were a kid? Like, what was the king of sodas?
I mean, I'm just trying to think, like middle school and high school. I mean, it was Faygo.
Yeah.
Faygo, Mountain Dew.
Like Rock and Rye. Rock and Rye and Red Pop. That was my childhood.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I've been looking for, however long I've been vaping, I've been looking for a Rock and Rye vape juice.
Oh, yeah?
It does not exist. It used to exist.
In both, well, Rock and Rye and Red Pop are both examples of like kind of original flavors for Faygo. I think other people have tried to replicate it, but
yeah,
nobody does a Red Pop. Like, what the fuck is that even?
I think it's strawberry cream soda.
Yeah,
trust me, because the other thing I was trying to.
No, but it didn't taste like the cream. There was the cream soda. The Faygo cream soda had a very particular taste to it. And Red Pop was, I don't know, it just tasted like carbonated Kool-Aid.
I mean, it still exists.
Oh, yeah. No, it totally does. I just don't drink it anymore.
Right? Yeah, I haven't had a Faygo in years. Because let's be honest, around here, Faygo's popular. The African-American community. Because all the fruit flavors. But I mean,
it's popular in all communities, but that's why it like, blew up in Detroit and remained like a big regional hit. I think definitely.
I wonder if they still make Jazz and Bluesberry.
Jazz and Bluesberry. That was all one flavor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It wasn't like a jazz flavor and a bluesberry.
No. What's jazz flavor? Tastes like weed.
Jazz flavored. I don't know if I would drink that.
Right.
A little too close to something else. You know, in
Peach was always a favorite.
In the Star Wars universe, the music that Max Rebo and his band is playing.
Max Rebo.
This is referred to in the lore as Jizz music. Jizz.
Oh boy.
Yeah. There's even you can find some comic panels of characters talking about listening to some hot jizz music.
Like from a porn?
Like
that's
did George know what he was doing, or like he couldn't have, because he would have been more clever than that, right?
Hey, maybe
like,
this was young, non-clever George Lucas.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I didn't even know it was a thing. Never heard anyone say it. It was a term that I made up. This is also the man who told Carrie Fisher that she couldn't have a bra for Star Wars because there's no bras in space.
Metal bikini it is.
Yeah. You know, then he takes the dailies and goes and wanks off to him.
Ladies and gentlemen, space titties.
You run this one at half speed for me. Jim. George Lucas just sounds like sad Kermit.
Yeah, is there footage of George Lucas and Kermit the Frog ever having a conversation together? Or just Jim Henson and George Lucas having a conversation?
Jake Gyllenhaal is going to redo Patrick Swayze's role in Roadhouse.
Oh, boy.
A classic movie.
So he's going to make it worse?
I don't know how you could make it worse. Actually, I don't even know how you can remake it at all. Because first of all...
can you in 2022?
First of all, it's not about anything, right? There's no actual plot to it. If you think that,
it's about
like,
whipping ass.
Right, if you think that there's like some kind of character growth or an arc there, and no, you're not watching the same movie. The guy kicks ass at the beginning, He kicks ass at end.
In the reboot, will he say, "I used to fuck guys like you in prison"?
He did say that. Roadhouse. I've seen that movie so many fucking times. It was.
Isn't that movie's about mind your P's and Q's in Patrick Swayze's bar.
It was, for some reason, we had a friend who had a pad downtown, and after parties we would go crash there, and he would insist on picking out the entertainment, and you had two choices: Roadhouse and Footloose.
That's quite a spectrum.
They're very similar movies, actually, when you think about it. It's just,
Was this person straight?
Yeah.
Because it's like musical or shirtless Patrick Swayze. Here's your two choices.
I don't know. There's some eye candy for the men too, for the straight men.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying. I'm saying this person's personal tastes.
But
shirtless Swayze or musical? Those are your two choices.
But to get back to the idea of like, can you remake Roadhouse? Like, it's such a movie of its time, right?
Aren't we mad at toxic masculinity? Isn't that like just 2 hours of toxic masculinity?
Yeah, we still love toxic masculinity, just in the right context, right? I mean, I watched the Gray Man on Netflix recently, which is the Russo brothers' newest project. Russo brothers were responsible for doing like Captain America and Avengers and the whole Infinity War thing.
Isn't that the new Tom Hanks movie?
No, this is Ryan. What's a real pretty boy? Ryan
Reynolds?
No, not that one.
Oh, Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling plays a CIA deep cover agent that gets betrayed by his own organization. It's very Born Identity type of thing, right? Only he doesn't have memory loss. He's just, bad at it. It's like Born Identity crossed with Suicide Squad, because he's in prison and they get him out of prison and say, you can be out of prison if you want to work for us. Like, you can kill. You just got to kill who we say and not who you want. And it's all about that. I mean, it's very... I guess there is some clever nods to it. Like, there's a very strong female co-lead kind of person who gets him out of trouble here and there. And at one point he does say, my ego's a little bruised. I'd like to save you one time. But he's going through the whole movie, like, barely reacting to anything, barely showing any emotions. Like, cooler than even like James Bond. Like, he doesn't have an oh shit look. He doesn't do the Harrison Ford thing where like his face goes out of control and he's like, yelling or something like that as he's jumping off of a horse or a truck or a cliff or whatever. He's like, when he's blowing up and flying around in a car, and he's just like stone faced.
Low resting pulse.
Yeah. And he does it very well. It's very entertaining, and it's a high octane movie. But it's very manly. I don't know that we are like against masculinity in general, right? I think we still love it, especially in our entertainment. Our entertainment is very masculine. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's actually a place for there's plenty of places for just dumb beat 'em up movies. We already have those.
And we're gonna get another one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
But
will it be called Roadhouse?
Well, why would you change the name? You're going to buy the rights to Roadhouse, cast a star in it, and then change the name of it? Like, there's no other way this works.
People have done crazier shit.
I guess, but then you would just, write your own movie about beating up people. You wouldn't have to get permission from any studio to write something that's not called Roadhouse. It's going to be from Nice Guys screenwriter Anthony Bagarozzi, something like that. Nice Guys was Ryan. We just did this, not Reynolds.
Gosling.
That was Ryan Gosling in that too, right? Have you seen The Nice Guys?
No.
I would highly recommend it. I think you'd enjoy it.
I've seen The Other Guys.
That's a fun one. Nice Guy. Nice Guy is really funny, and really good plot. I liked it. Right? So I don't know. Maybe they can actually do something with this. I think if you keep all the action, but you give it a little bit of the 21 Jump Street treatment or the Starsky and Hutch wink. Like, we're going to redo this, but we're going to do it with such a big fucking wink.
I remember seeing previews for this movie for Nice Guys.
Yeah. It's a snarky, buddy, private eye type of movie. It's really fun, though.
Don't Beavis and Butthead start this week? Their new episodes?
Oh, do they? Is it time to...
it's time for me to...
Get a Paramount Plus subscription?
Paramount Plus. They got the movie. They got episodes. I heard now they're, the first iteration, they watched videos when they came back, 10, 15 years ago, they were watching shows, like Jersey Shore and 16 and Pregnant.
They'd be on YouTube now, right?
Now they're watching TikTok videos.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's fucking perfect. That's brilliant.
It's Mike Judge, man.
Yeah.
The guy is a comedy genius.
I guess I gotta add another streamer, huh? There's some other things. I've been wanting to check out the Star Wars stuff, and I don't know. I guess they got some. What else they got on Paramount Plus? I don't know. It's too much, man. Too much.
All the South Park stuff.
It took too much. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know if I could ever I don't think I'd ever get back into the show again. I'm not. It's not like a Simpsons thing where they used to be funny and now they're not. They're still doing the same thing. It's just, I don't know. South Park and I have gone separate paths.
See, that's just because I don't have Comedy Central. Because I watched their pandemic special. It was hilarious.
Really, it was good. It was worth watching.
They still got it. As far as their writing.
Well, maybe that's just what it is. Maybe it's just the not the ease of access. It's not just on when you come home and turn on the TV anymore.
It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't oh, hey, they're funny again. It was just I watched it. I was like, oh, these guys are so funny as fuck. I just haven't had access to South Park.
I was reading about The Simpsons. Apparently, the Principal Skinner episode where he's revealed to be Armin Tanzarian.
Yes.
Classic episode. Apparently that has been flagged by a lot of people as the jump the shark moment, as the moment when The Simpsons started going off the rails. I
give you 9,000 examples with Homer, but we're going to pick this one. This is...
this is second episode of season 9. I think that's still prime Simpsons in my opinion.
To me, that was getting near the... To me, that was getting near the weird... where it started getting weird.
As a harbinger, maybe, but I just...
Like I said, when they started turning Homer into Wile E. Coyote is when they lost me.
Well, I think what people are identifying with this is the first time that The Simpsons went full meta, and they were acknowledging the fact that this universe is kind of frozen in sitcom time where the day resets constantly, Nobody actually ages. Because that's what they were playing with.
I mean, Bart's been in second grade for fucking 30 years.
But they wanted to do...
Fourth grade.
They did a story that allowed them to completely, rewrite the history of a character that would change all stories going forward, only they ended it with, and we will never speak of this again.
Right.
Which I thought was great. I think maybe that's part of what I love about that episode so much. Was, they could fully acknowledge the universe that they were working in and say, look, this is just the way it's going to be. Next week's episode, nobody's going to mention the name Armin Tanzarian.
Yeah.
And I think the writing is really strong in it still, too. It's as strong as anything else in those early seasons. Can I see your episode? Can I see your issue of Swank, Herman?
Was that when Dana Gould was the head writer?
Could be. So this episode was written... Where's his name? Ken Keeler was the writer of this episode. And he also apparently did... This is one of his favorite episodes. He says, and this is somebody pulled some comments on a commentary track off the DVD set. which was, I think I have season 9, so I've just never listened to this. But he has high praise for this one, or says it's the best episode of television I ever wrote, is the quote, actually. It's right here. He also did Two Bad Neighbors, The Mysterious Voyage of Homer, and Futurama episodes Goodfellas, and The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings. That's one of my favorite Futuramas. You remember that one? With who is it that I think Fry wishes for robot hands or something? He ends up getting the devil's hands. He's like, oh yeah, these things are going everywhere. Oh, it's a great episode. They make a deal with the devil that the devil actually, the robot devil, not the regular devil, the robot devil. Yeah, but I think it's the idea that this kind of broke the universe for some people. Like, you can't just tell me that this didn't happen. Like, I'm always going to know that there was this episode. But, like, it didn't for me. You know, I went back to, I remembered the Armin Tanzarian episode, but I continued to watch The Simpsons, and I was like, there's Principal Skinner.
Right.
I didn't think, this doesn't make any sense. Why is nobody mentioning it? They told you why. The town swore never to mention it again. That's why.
Are they ever going to end? Like, they said they were going to end at 30. Aren't they now on, like, 35 or 33?
Are they that far into it?
Well, first season was 89, right?
Somebody took, I don't know if this was, like, remastered game footage or somebody just took the old game and reskinned it. But you remember, what was the Simpsons driving game? I think it was just called Hit and Run. And
I only remember the arcade game.
Oh, yeah. There was, I think it was for Nintendo or PlayStation or something like that. But there was a Simpsons Hit and Run. And somebody made it look like, updated the graphics on it and made it look exactly like the cartoon. And it did. It looked like you're watching an episode of the cartoon, but you could play it. And I'm like, the only reason it looks so much like the cartoon is because the cartoon has gone completely computerized.
Yeah.
And that is what it looks like. It looks like a sterile video game. It doesn't, the characters don't have that stretch and bounce to them like they did in those early episodes, those earlier seasons. And I think that's a big part of what makes them what keeps them so rewatchable. Just like the classic Disney stuff. Not even to say it's just like Pixar does computer animation, but they still put the work into it to make the characters actually feel not real, but that they exist in their own universe and they have their own physics, right?
Yeah, and Pixar does the best to stay out of the uncanny valley.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the object isn't to like make everything realistic. Like, oh, now we can make all these textures and we can see every hair.
They're still keeping it cartoony.
Right. You have to have a design. You have to, because part of animation is building a world that people can visit. You know, what's the point of making an animation if you're just trying to make it look as realistic as possible? We have cameras.
Yeah.
They capture all that, and it's one guy, right? Not 87 Pakistanis.
Yeah. Just do stop motion, if that's what you want to do.
Well, that's even harder. That's even more work.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
White Castle presents CEO Lisa Ingram.
My great-grandfather opened White Castle in 1921, which is why I'm excited to announce the new 1921 slider, inspired by how we made them 100 years ago, with 100% beef patty topped with cheddar cheese, caramelized onions, tomato, lettuce, and pickles. Come see why originality never goes out of style. I'm Lisa, but you can call me the Slider Queen.
White Castle. Long live sliders.
Pasteurized processed cheese at participating castles.
Join Planet Fitness now and get the PF Black Card. Access more than 2,000 locations and bring a friend every visit. Zero enrollment, $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this zero down deal ends August 10th.
See Club for details. Join Planet Fitness now and get the PF Black Card. Access more than 2,000 locations and bring a friend every visit. Zero enrollment, $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this zero down deal ends August 10th.
See Club for details.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
Speaking of TikTok, I guess, as we were a while ago, there's some recent trends from TikTok. Do you know what mucus fishing is?
Ugh, no.
Mucus fishing is using a cotton swab or your finger to drag the mucus out of your eyes.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they're like saying this is like mucus that, you know, just shit that everybody has in their eyes, or if they're having some particularly stringy mucus that they need to remove from their eyes. I can't imagine why this would be a thing.
Is this just bored teenager shit?
Mucus. So this is from the National Library of Medicine. Mucus fishing syndrome is a cascading cyclic condition characterized by continuous extraction of mucus strands from the eye. The snowballing cycle begins when the patient extracts excess mucus from the ocular surface, thereby causing further irritation and more profound mucus discharge. So I think this is like...
This sounds like a video I do not want to see.
This is a bit of OCD. This is, you know, people find, oh, there's like some weird mucus in my eye, and they like are obsessed with getting it out to the point where they're just creating more mucus.
And this is the app everybody has? Let's watch these videos.
But here's what I think you could top. Actually, I don't mind this one. It doesn't gross me out. Vabbing.
What?
So this is a portmanteau of, I guess, dabbing and vagina. So it was popularized by Shan Boudran.
Sure, the look on my face is great for audio right now.
Yeah, certified sexologist. And they say that dabbing a bit of vagina fluid on your skin will create a, like you would a perfume, will help you attract a mate. And apparently this is something that you do before the gym. Maybe. They're saying, so it's frequently done before a sweaty workout at the gym. I mean, it might be doing something, but I bet you your sports bra is doing most of the heavy lifting, so to speak. Right? Like... Maybe on a subconscious level, they are smelling your vagina radiating from you. But I think it's more...
Oh, so women are supposed to take their own vagina?
Yes, their own. They're not sharing it. Yeah, you know, you're in the locker room, you're getting ready for your workout, you see your gym hottie there, and you're like, I'm going to dab some pussy juice on my neck and hope that he catches a whiff and knows what's up. And I'm saying that's a possibility that maybe they're registering at a subconscious level, but on the top level, on, you know, the main CPU in the brain is registering your boobs in a sports bra.
Right.
And your ass
in yoga pants.
Yeah, and your fucking camel toe because you've got your fucking bike shorts pulled up to your belly button. That's probably what's making the guy want to come over and talk to you. You know, it's
yeah, put some pussy juice on behind your ears. It's
not like, you know, he's going to be on the other side of the gym where he can't even see you, and that there's going to be like pussy juice, like in a fumes, like in a Looney Tunes cartoon that just like waft over and like grab the guy by the nose and pull him over across the gym as he drags his feet. Oh, what is that aroma?
See, now though, when you said dabbing, I was
vabbing.
I was thinking something much different. I was thinking like chicks were like dabbing through their vagina.
I immediately thought of like dab, you know, where you put your arms and
like the dance,
right? But you would just.
I was thinking like weed.
You just stick them out like in a V. Well, that's just part of the YMCA,
right? You're just being the Y.
Yeah, that probably would make more sense if it was vaping with your vagina. Is that what you're saying? Like doing concentrates through your vagina.
Yeah, just hitting a dab rig through your vag.
Yeah, it could work. Could work. So crazy.
Your vagina can inhale? Sure could work.
Sure, right? You ever seen somebody smoke a cigarette with a pussy?
So now we're getting into the Prince song here.
I mean, not in person, but I've seen videos.
With the ping pong balls.
Would you get with a chick who smoked with her pussy?
No.
Would you go down on her?
No.
I'd just, you know, I'd try and convince her to see a doctor.
Does that thing got cancer?
Yeah. You're listening to, I think your pussy's got emphysema. It's wheezing. So summer is now just known in most places in the U.S. as like fire season, right?
Don't we do this every year? That's what I kind of find.
Fires?
Yeah. It happens out west every year.
I think we just report on them more now, too. Well, I don't know. Like, maybe they're happening. They seem to be happening more severely, especially as you go out to Lake California. There was one recently in Utah, though, that was started by a man who was trying to kill a spider with a lighter.
And he started a whole wildfire?
Corey Allen Martin.
He got a hose?
26 of Draper was arrested Monday evening for investigation of reckless burning, as well as possession of a controlled substance and drug paraphernalia.
Was this guy high, trying to kill a spider with a lighter?
Firefighters at the scene said they had come across a man who said that he started a fire. Dude, there's your first mistake. Did you really confess? Crews escorted him down the mountain to speak with authorities. He explained that he saw a spider on the mountain and tried to burn it with a lighter. Bro. Okay, look, you're on a mountain and you see a spider. Leave it the fuck up. You're on a fucking mountain, dude. You're not in your bathroom. Why are you going to kill every spider on the mountain? Or were you just fucking high and bored? Because he had cannabis on him. This is just some dumb stoner on a mountain.
Hey, a spider, let's kill it.
Yeah. It's like, didn't Homer go overboard trying to kill a spider once?
I mean, that sounds right.
Maybe I'm confusing it with something else.
Sounds Homer-esque.
Not a good song, but goddamn this beat.
Dude, this was a good concert. I saw him at State. Yeah, it had to be the State because the balcony was moving under our feet.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, is this balcony gonna fucking come down? The whole show, just feeling it move.
I thought that was gonna happen at the Outkast concert there.
Did you know that Rich didn't know St. Andrews closed? I was telling him, was it because of what? Tell him because the floor was caving in. Or did you not know it closed either?
Did you know that I didn't know?
Oh yeah. In March or something.
I thought they were shutting it down just to work on the floor.
Well, they did, and then but it's done. It's old.
Really?
There was a concert that was happening in the main room at St. Andrews Hall, and the people in the shelter. There was like videos on the internet of people showing the ceiling at the shelter going. They had to evacuate after, and it's been closed since that night.
Wow, I didn't know so. You think they're ever going to open?
No, that's
really.
It's too old.
Meaning that, there's still the property there, right? I mean, so they could build a new venue.
Yeah.
Right? That's a possibility, but you just don't think that they'll build. So you're saying, the building as it exists, the St. Andrews that we know, 3 floors of fun, is no more.
Yeah.
That's a pretty iconic venue, man.
Yeah.
A lot of shit went down there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Dude, I've been there. I can't even tell you how many times I've been there. I have no idea how many times I've been there.
Yeah.
Things downtown is definitely been there the most. Yeah, 3 floors of fun, tons of concerts.
Yeah, and for those of you not familiar with 3 floors of fun, it was... So you had alternative DJs on the bottom floor in the basement, in the shelter, right? Among them, DJ Diana Frank, who was at one time my manager at the record store that I worked at, Record Exchange. And then mid-floor was hip-hop, and you get guys up there, scratching and doing tricks and shit like that, or sometimes just playing, hip-hop records.
That's the floor everyone got on fights on.
Yeah, that's where all the rowdy shit went down. And then Plur was on the 3rd floor. That was where all the techno happened, and that was Mike Huckabee's residency.
Peace, love, and understanding reality.
Mike Huckabee, who, a Detroit treasure.
He died, didn't he?
He passed away right at the beginning of COVID, really. He was one of the first people that I knew personally that had passed away from COVID. And
spent a lot of time on that third floor.
Yeah, Huck was he was, a lot of people knew him from there, certainly, and he worked at Record Time, and
I remember just being hot up there and the windows being open.
Yeah, it was.
Even in January, hot.
It was always a fucking sweat box up there.
July, hot. February, hot.
I think I've played on all 3 stages. Not that there's really much of a stage upstairs, but I did a show. I played with my friend's band. What was it called? Apartment. I can't remember the number. Damn it. Apartment 3, Apartment 8, Apartment 7, something like that. I played with Telecollision on the main stage, and then maybe I didn't play in the basement. I think the shelter is the only part that
we played a battle in the shelter, and we played the main room.
It was a battle that I did the main room, yeah. It wasn't like we got to play our own concert at St. Andrews.
I think the main room, it was like just a show with like us and like a bunch of other bands. Like,
well, that counts. I got the DJ downstairs. I got the DJ in the shelter, so I have played down there. I'll count that. Man, that's a bummer.
It's just sitting there now, closed.
I saw Elliott Smith play at that show where he signed my arm and then stabbed himself in the chest about 6 months later. That was the last time he ever came to Detroit.
I heard somebody recently say he didn't stab himself.
What, Courtney Love was holding the knife?
I don't know if it's Courtney Love, but I forget their crazy tinfoil hat shit they were saying.
So, there's a huge body of evidence on iTunes right now that points to him committing suicide.
It's called music.
Called his albums. So, I don't know how you listen to all that shit and then go, oh, that guy killed himself? Really? Really? Elliott Smith? Really? 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 Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I think that doesn't sound right to me.
Right.
That doesn't sound right to me at all.
It wasn't exactly writing sunny pop tunes.
Yeah. So, speaking of Sunny, I don't know. No, I don't. Forget it. I don't have a segue for this, but we're going to talk about weed. And it's not, I don't know if it's all that sunny for weed. Certainly not sunny for people who are looking forward to buying legal cannabis in Detroit. You can go just outside of Detroit.
Oh, yes. Is the city of Detroit fucking something up?
But, yeah. No, there's a lawsuit now that's postponing it. And I remember we brought this up maybe last week I think it was last week. And they'd, just commenting on the fact that, like, finally Detroit gets to actually get in on the recreational cannabis, something that we've enjoyed outside of Detroit for a few years now. And this lawsuit announcement here that's going to delay this recreational rollout in Detroit highlighted what the issue was for me, and that's apparently, I'm trying to find the exact year here. Yeah, 2027. So the basis of the lawsuit is that it's unfair business practice for those currently running medical establishments in Detroit, because those who have legal medical cannabis businesses inside Detroit cannot apply for a recreational license until 2027. So imagine that. I'm with you on the fact that, like, medical's not just going to go away, that recreational completely replaces it. But still, you got to figure that those medical businesses are going to take a huge hit when the recreational places open up, especially if they're not able to serve for recreational. And I don't understand why. Because
it's a fucking city.
Because not all the places in Metro Detroit are both medical and recreational, but all of the medical establishments seem to that wanted to go recreational have been able to. I'm sure there's a limit on license, but there was no barring from it. There's all the places downriver that I knew that were medical. They just eventually started doing recreational.
Yep, you just gotta have a separate door. It's apparently the rule.
It's not even a separate door. You just,
because it all leads to the same space.
Right, but I think they all, the flower bowl that I went to downriver, that was, you went in through the same door and you just went to a separate line. There were 2 separate counters, all the same product on either side.
No, I go to Puff and Utica now.
Yeah.
And it all goes to the same spot, and there's a medical counter and there's a recreational counter, but it's like medical people, you got to use this store. It's the stupid rules.
Separate but equal.
Yeah, right.
What's next? Your own drinking fountain?
Yeah, and I pay 10% less to use it. Dude, the city of Detroit wonders why they're a punchline. I mean, they hit a booming economy down there, and they fucking torpedoed it by sending them all the industrial zones and closing half the shops.
Mm-hmm.
And now that
you got a manager in to actually get you out of bankruptcy, and you haven't done shit with that. Everybody's in on the grift. You want to think that, keep running stories about Kwame Kilpatrick, like he was the problem and now he's gone. Oh, thank God. Dude, he was just the tip of the iceberg, and he showed that. He's the
guy who got caught.
Wow, exactly.
He was just bad at.
Yeah. He was just flaunting it. They were all like, "Don't go out and buy anything new," and he's like, got fucking hose falling out of Escalades.
He's 31 and got elected mayor.
No, Detroit is run like we all assume Mexico is from the movies. The marijuana moment is throwing some shade at Biden in the recent story. Biden daughter-in-law reportedly shopped at marijuana dispensary with Secret Service protection as president leaves cannabis prisoners behind bars. It's true. We've got legal establishments for selling this stuff now that even the extended family of the president can go to, and yet we've done nothing to release people who are in prison for selling the same drug. Melissa Cohen, who is married to Biden's son Hunter, spotted. Of course.
I mean, I want to say it'll happen when Gen X gets in the White House,
druggies.
Right? But Gen X has already been in the White House.
Apparently, she left behind a laptop too. No, a 99 High Tide. I don't know why that's the name of the place. Left with a, quote, small, unidentified purchase. I bet you it was weed.
Go out on a limb here.
Yeah. They don't usually sell much else. I can't imagine she went in there and said, "Give me 10 packs of zigzags," and then walked out.
I just need papers.
Yes.
Only papers.
I'm just here for stickers for my Geo. Yeah, so this was in California. And they note in the story that Biden has said that he doesn't believe people should be incarcerated over cannabis. And he's expressed support for letting states set their own policies without federal intervention. But he hasn't taken meaningful steps to end federal criminalization, as he promised on the campaign trail. I guess that was one of the he talked about cannabis a little bit, not a ton.
One could argue he's got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, but this could be this should be the appetizer that you get out of the way while your fish is frying. This is an easy one to whip up and make a lot of people happy. This is a nice 7-layer dip that you could put out for everyone while you focus on trying to keep the rest of the world from blowing up. The NIH and this one I wasn't familiar. What's the NOSI? Oh no, this is a note. Why did they put an acronym for that? Notice of Special Interest. I thought that was another group. What was the other group then? Let me start again. The NIH and 8 of its component agencies posted a notice of special interest last week entitled Promoting Mechanistic Research on Therapeutic and Other Biological Properties of Minor Cannabinoids and Terpenes.
What?
I ran out of breath saying it. Yeah.
I'm high. There's a lot to process.
But basically what they want to do is they're saying that they want to have the ability to study Delta-8 THC and study terpenes and find out what exactly all this shit is doing. Or the CBN, the CBG. There seems to be there's some kind of science to it, as inexact as it is. I mean, I asked you can get now, edibles that'll say like, they'll have a certain amount of THC, a certain amount of CBN, a certain amount of CBG. But I think generally CBN is more like puts your ass to sleep.
I don't want no CNN in my weed.
No CNN. NCI, the National Cancer Institute, wants to understand the mechanism by which minor cannabinoids and terpenes in the cannabis plant may affect cancer interception, cancer treatment and resistance, and management of cancer symptoms. NEI, what is the NEI? The National Eye Institute. That makes sense. Looking for studies into the medical potential of cannabinoids in the treatment of glaucoma and retinal degeneration.
What about mucus fishing?
Yeah. No shit, though. Like, we've known for a long time that smoke some cannabis to relieve the pressure in your eye for your glaucoma.
Yeah.
Haven't you ever seen Friday? But, yeah, for God's sake, man. It's 2022, and you're just now thinking about maybe we should study this marijuana and glaucoma connection. Maybe there's something there. Slow down.
Easy. We've only known this for a few decades.
Yeah, the fact that it's on Schedule 1 requires scientists to go through an onerous registration process to access cannabis for studies. Head of the NIDA. Where's my acronym key again? NIDA. Anyone?
National
No, I don't see that
Institute
one in here.
of Double Assholes.
National Institute of Dilated Assholes. Let's see. I lost my spot. Been repeatedly pressed on cannabis research. Oh, no, that's not it. So the head of the NIDA says she's personally reluctant to go through the process of getting approval to study Schedule 1 drugs.
Oh, wait, I bet the D is drugs.
Well, there you go.
National Institute of Drugs Administration.
They're in charge of administering the drugs?
Yes.
Like MK Ultra?
Yeah, their shadow government.
There was an opinion piece in Newsweek about the recent Schumer, Booker, and Wyden bill.
What does Newsweek have to think? I have to say blah.
The Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act. CAWA. They had better names before then.
You spelled cocoa wrong.
Yeah, they're probably trying to steer away from any names like that.
No, that's right.
So this was this opinion piece written by Ken Sabat. Senate marijuana legalization bill falls flat. Oh, what happened? There we go. It's met with fierce resistance from opponents concerned about the growing influence of big marijuana and the consequences of normalizing marijuana. After months of speculation, nearly a year after the release of a discussion draft of the bill and repeated promises that the final bill would come soon, the CAWA was a dud. Senate Majority Leader, who labeled marijuana as a priority 2 years ago, did not even hold a press conference, a standard procedure for garnering support and attention for preferred legislation. Senator Booker was silent on the bill, as was Wyden. With few exceptions, the sponsors did not speak to the media about it.
There's other shit going on.
Perhaps signaling their hesitance to answer questions about its inevitable public health consequences. You think that's what... See, so you can just assume, if they're not saying anything about it, then you can assume it's because they know that it's dangerous and they shouldn't be doing this. That's quite the leap to make. Like, maybe they fear that they'll get backlash for talking about marijuana when gas prices are $5 and people are worried about Russia's expanding war and China's expanding influence.
They're rolling back Roe v. Wade and all this stuff. And let's talk about weed. No!
Yeah. Not top billing right now. Americans, he says in here, Americans are rightly more focused on issues impacting their bank accounts. Yes, I get, priority, sure, but we can walk and chew gum, right? So let's chew this cannabis gum while we walk towards whatever other goals we're trying to accomplish. On its merits, the CAWA leaves much to be desired. While it does have a few public health provisions, such as prohibiting advertising to minors, it fails to address the numerous problems seen in states that have legalized marijuana, including busting illicit market activity. Okay, that's a problem in every state, even states that don't have.
Yeah.
So right. Increases in use among vulnerable populations and youth. We actually haven't seen that, right? We've seen studies where teen use continues to go down at the same rate that it has for decades now. It's on a very steady decline amongst popularity of teenagers. Why? Because they've got mother's little helpers in their own cabinets now.
Yeah.
They don't need this shit. What else is he listing here? Increases in long-term effects on public health. Long-term effects on public health. Okay, sure, I'll grant you that. But you know what? Like, that's exactly why we should be legalizing it and studying it, so we have a clearer idea of what are the possible.
Do some
effects.
research,
but please. And also, you want to talk about. We're rushing this without considering long-term effects on public health. I wonder if Mr. Kevin Sabbert is vaccinated against COVID-19.
Right.
If he wants to talk about rushing something despite not knowing the long-term effects of health. I don't disagree with him that the bill's imperfect, but this guy's leaning on we need to study it more and we don't know enough about it. We know enough that it should be legal.
Saying that for decades. At this point, you have a 10-year study you could do in a state called Colorado.
At this point, if it were a dangerous drug, we'd have a pile of bodies to point to.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah, where's all the weed deaths?
Show me where the skeletons are. Where are these bodies buried? You can't.
They don't exist. What does exist is our social media. Twitter, @TheWeedsman420.
We exist.
You can like us on Facebook. Yeah, we exist. You exist. You're listening to us. You can like us on Facebook. Prove that you exist. You can go to ChristopherMedia.net, hit the PayPal button, hit the Amazon banner if you would like to help out the show. And wherever you listen to us, Spotify, Apple, I don't know, we're on dozens. At this point, probably hundreds of platforms. If it picks up an RSS feed, we're there. If you can review us, rate us, please do. 1 to 5 stars. Please, thank you. We appreciate all feedback. And you can stay high.
Stay high. Oh God, that's that burp that was stuck in there the whole time. At the beginning of the podcast.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.